surrendered. But I don't understand why we're having debates here on actions that Barack Obama took, and nobody really said anything about it. They weren't screaming for an act of war. I know this is a very bad situation, and I hope to God. I mean, I'm glad that Donald Trump is our president, because I wouldn't have had the balls to do it. I think it was the right thing to do, but I wouldn't have had the balls to do it.
Well, it's really interesting, because I know that historically, I mean, look, you know, I'm not going to pick on you for this, but I happen to be the editor. Right. It'll be obvious what I'm saying, but I was editor of the Daily Mirror newspaper, one of the big national papers in the UK, for many years, and I campaigned vociferously on the front page after front page against the Iraq war. And it was particularly contentious in the UK because we were the Labour supporting newspaper and Tony Blair was a Labour Prime Minister. So it was a huge sort of deal over here. And I know that you initially supported the Iraq war, and then afterwards you later accepted that that had been a mistake, which, you know, again, is part of your strength, I think.
You know, I think, Piers, you know, you can't silence people when they're wrong, because hopefully they're on the road to becoming right.
Yes.
But you only get that if you have a debate. And I will tell you that I was for Afghanistan. I was a very big, you know, war hawk. You know, let's go in and just do it. Let's do it. I'm not that way anymore, because I've seen the pattern. It doesn't work out. America needs to mind its own business. We can't export what we have. I mean, I have hopes for the Middle East. I have hopes for Iran. I pray for the people in Iran. They're a very big danger. But, you know, the one thing, again, I go back to Donald Trump. I don't think he's being duped. In 2016, maybe. I mean, he has told me he didn't really know what he was up against. He knows what he's up against now. He hates war, hates it. As much as he loves tariffs, he hates war. He has told me eye to eye about how he has redesigned, or he had to rebuild, our nuclear arsenal. And in a fashion that I've never seen Donald Trump, he said, Glenn, it can never be used. It is horrifying what can be done now. I know, I helped rebuild it. It can never be used. He hates nuclear war. He hates regular war.
Yeah.
And I think he really believes he did the right thing, and I don't think he's being duped by it.
No, and it's interesting because I know that you were hoping he didn't do what he did. Now that he's done it, and obviously it's incredibly early days, and none of us can be sure what is going to happen, and I wouldn't even attempt to guess. But I certainly think that Trump's intentions were well-intentioned. I think he has said for many years that Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, and he genuinely believed that enriching their uranium stocks from 3.5% to 60% was a dangerous escalation that could only be heading one way. And so he's taken the same action that he did when he took out Soleimani or Baghdadi, when he attacked Syria, when he dropped big bombs in Afghanistan. You know, he's done things strategically as he sees it without actually committing large number of American troops on the ground.
You also have to look at this. Every single president since Clinton has said this, okay? Iran has killed more Americans as a nation than I think any other nation has. They've been an enemy. Every single president has said they cannot have a nuclear weapon. I don't want to go to war with Iran. I don't want any of this. However, you know, when you talk to a B-2 bomber, which I did over the weekend, they have been running this particular run for 15 years plus. We built in White Sands, we built a model of that reactor. This bomb that we dropped, we're the only ones with it in the world. It was made for those reactors, specifically for those reactors. It is so accurate, it can hit the top of a pop can or a Coke can from 50,000 feet. It had to go into a 10 by 10 foot vent. They have been running this over and over again. That's not Donald Trump. That's the American policy. We know that these people are serious when they say they're going to burn first the Jews in the Islamic fiery furnace and then America. We're the great Satan. They have been a threat of ours for a long time. I wish we could have negotiated our way, but it didn't happen. So now we're here. Now what do we do?
Well, as we're talking, I'm just going to read this to you. Reuters and AFP are reporting explosions over Doha. So we're talking Monday evening UK time, Monday afternoon your time in the States. Iranian media saying Iran is attacking US bases in both Qatar and Iraq. And this follows BBC and Fox News reporting credible and imminent threats of Iranian missile attacks on US-run air bases. So that's just breaking as you and I are talking. But clearly that would be a significant escalation. If Iran is targeting US air bases now in the Middle East, what do you think that means as we progress forward?
I don't know. I've been saying to my audience, pray for peace, but prepare for war. This is a war that I think is coming one way or another. I mean, look at the state of Europe, look at the state of England, look at the state of America. I mean, this is a war with Islamists, not Muslims, Islamists, that is going to happen at some point. I think we're at the beginning of a 50-year war with Islamists. And it's disturbing to me. And the reason why is we're not clear. None of our countries, Donald Trump will, but none of our countries will even name what we're against. They won't say it. You know, what I complimented you for doing on this show is actually saying what the truth is and letting all sides. Our governments are silencing, and I think it's because they're afraid. But it's a war that is absolutely coming. And the problem is, I remember I sat in the Oval Office during the Gulf War, or the Iraqi War, with George Bush, and he was reading me the Riot Act because I wasn't happy about the way things were going. And he said to me, I said, you know, we got an election coming up, and what do you think these guys are going to do? And he said something, and he tried to make me feel better, and this actually made me feel horrible. He said, Glenn, don't worry about it. No matter who wins, when they sit behind this desk, they'll be advised by the same voices and they'll realize they have no other options. I left that office thinking, then why do we elect a president? What is happening? We have to break this cycle. Hopefully this we're not being lulled into something or pulled into something that is, you know, long planned. Hopefully we can end this quickly and return to some normalcy in all of our countries. But we have to face the truth. Yeah,
I think I completely concur with you. And like I said, whilst I can absolutely understand why Donald Trump did what he did, and while I think there's a compelling argument that Iran was fast accelerating its way to a nuclear weapon, which everybody basically agrees, apart from Iran and its allies, would be a very bad thing for the world. Once you do strike in the way that the United States struck with these bunker buster bombs, you cannot then control the way the narrative plays out. You don't know how the receiving end of that is going to respond.
I think that that our side is hoping that they are so weakened that they don't have much fight left in them. I would hope that. However, if I said on Friday or Saturday when it happened that if somebody did that to us and just blew up one of our bases in the United States, here in our continental U.S., we would declare that's a declaration of war.
Yeah.
And why would we expect them not to feel that way? The only hope is they're so weakened that it can end quickly.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, I think this attempt to try and pretend it's not a declaration of war, I don't think that flies. I mean, I posted on X that this is America saying it's at war with Iran, right? I mean, you drop 30,000-pound bombs all over the place on nuclear sites in a foreign country. You are except it's a declaration
we've done
of
that
war.
Before. Except we've done that before in other cases, and nobody's had this reaction. But it's not Iran and Israel. For some reason, that's just totally different for everybody.
I mean, what's strange about that whole thing is if you go back into the not too distant past of Iran and Israel, before the revolution in '79, they got on pretty well. It's like a lot of these relationships have been contaminated in the last 40, 50 years.
So I'm doing a show Thursday, Piers, that I'm glad you brought this up because I was just talking to my producers about the direction I want to go in, and that is Look at Europe today. Look at England today. Then look at